you ever missed a concert because nobody else listened to that artist, or nobody else wanted to go? Have you ever skipped a movie because nobody else was interested in that genre? Have you missed out on eating at a very exotic restaurant because nobody wanted to try that specific type of food? If you have, then that is one thing that you need to work on. You need to learn how to enjoy going to places and enjoying life by yourself. If you don't like your own company, then that's a problem. Then that means you're in bad company. If you think that when you're alone, you're in bad company, you need to seriously check yourself before you wreck yourself. Why did you skip out on those life experiences? Why were you just waiting for someone else to join you? You let your fear of discomfort of going alone beat the experience of the event, the restaurant, or the experience that you were going to have. So let's start off with something slow. Most people won't go to the movies by themselves because they think that it's kind of sad, because they're going to think that other people are going to perceive them as lonely. That's not true at all. So by the end of this video, my goal is to make it so that way you don't think that going to the movies alone is sad, but that doing things by yourself is actually a superpower. So this first piece actually comes from my buddy, shout out Mike Winship, for talking about how people who can go to events or things by themselves, and it might be something as small as going to a movie. It might be a big step for you, but in this context, let's phrase it as that's step one. Go to a movie by yourself. That shows a lot of emotional maturity because you're not waiting for other people to enjoy your life. A lot of the times people will wait on other people's permission to do things in life. But if you just go and do it by yourself, you're not waiting for life to happen. You're not waiting for someone else to give you the validation to do what you want to do, right? If you want to go out by yourself, I think you should go out by yourself. Shout out my buddy Sahir, bro. He goes out by himself every weekend, like Thursday to Sunday. This dude will be out by himself because to him, going out is decompression. And a lot of the times people don't want to go out. And so he'll just run an evening and a night out by himself till like 1 or 2 in the morning, which is amazing. I mean, you can just you really have this like maturity if you can go out by yourself. And a great first step to doing that is, if you want to watch a movie that nobody else wants to go watch that movie. If you want to eat at a restaurant by yourself, don't think it's weird, because it's really not. Next piece of this is you really feel comfortable with yourself. We talked about not needing someone else's permission, but why does that matter? And it's at the end of the day, you just need to be comfortable by doing things by yourself to create a frame of unshakable confidence. Now, there's solitude and there's loneliness. Now, solitude is when you are by yourself and you're going out and doing these experiences and doing things by yourself because you genuinely want to do them. Loneliness is when you feel weird or sad about doing things by yourself. Solitude becomes the superpower. Loneliness becomes the piece that's going to make you feel sad. So it is a mindset shift at a certain point that, hey, if I'm going to go do this by myself, I'm engaging in solitude, and I'm not doing this because I'm lonely. You can be there's a great phrase I like, and it's alone but not lonely. Just because you're by yourself does not mean that there's loneliness involved. That's all up to you, all up to how you want to perceive yourself. And actually, talking about perception, that brings us to the next point. The fact that you are going to think to yourself sometimes when you do things by yourself, for the very first time, you're going to think, what will people think of me, right? There's a really popular phrase in the South Asian community where people say, "Log kya kahenge," right? And if you've ever seen Hassan Minaj stand up, you know exactly what that means. "Log kya kahenge" literally means, what will people say? And so you got to also realize that there's this thing called the spotlight effect, that people put way too much importance on themselves and on how they're perceived compared to how they actually are perceived. So you're gonna go out by yourself to a restaurant. I promise you, bro, nobody cares. Nobody will care at all if you are out eating by yourself. And I've done this so many times. I've also been to concerts by myself, and great time for a story, right? Back in October of this year, or no, back in September, I wanted to go to the Clipse concert. Shout out Malice, shout out Pusha T. And a couple of my friends were out of town that wanted to go, and nobody else really listens to that type of music. And so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just go by myself. And I that morning I just dropped $100 on the ticket and went by myself. And the experience was something else, man. First of all, Clipse is a legendary hip hop duo if you haven't heard of them. And second, this is the first time they toured together in 15 years. And so they played all their OG bangers, and then they played a lot of their new album. They played pretty much every song off their new album. And I met so many awesome hip hop heads. And if you know me, I love hip hop music, and I love dissecting specific bars and like talking about facts from certain music from certain songs. And so I met a lot of OG hip hop heads that just knew so much more about music than I did, and I found it amazing because it was a really cool atmosphere to experience. And I'm like, man, I'm really glad I came by myself, and I ended up like leaving with this group of like 5 or 6 people, and we ended up doing karaoke afterwards because I told them, I was like, yeah, man, I do rap karaoke every Thursday. I'm gonna go there after this. They're like, yo, you about to rap? And I was like, yeah. I was like, bro, come through. And then they did. And so you never know what kind of experience you'll have, and you'll never know what kind of night you're gonna have when you go to things by yourself. Let's talk about how you can implement this on your own. One quote that really comes to mind with this is, all of humanity's problems stem from man being unable to sit alone in a room with his thoughts and do nothing. It's not the exact quote, but that's kind of the gist of it, right? I'm not saying you should sit in a room alone. I'm saying you should go out and try things. So step one of this will be something chill. I mean, like, if you really want to go watch a movie, go to a Studio Movie Grill on like a $6 movie Tuesday and go watch a movie that you've been wanting to watch by yourself, and just try that out. See how it goes. And then the next step up, if you want to go to a restaurant by yourself, go to a restaurant by yourself. I can't tell you how many times I've gone to eat Korean barbecue on my own back when I lived like 5 minutes from this place. It got to the point where I knew the entire staff there, and I would have a conversation with them every time I went. The next step is going to a concert by yourself, or going to some event or experience by yourself. You can even go out alone if you want. I feel like all these qualify. Anywhere you're in like a social atmosphere with people qualifies as like step 3. And then if you really want to do this, if you really want to go ham, you can go on a solo trip. That's step 4, right? And I think I'm 100% certain I've done all of these things. I can clearly articulate exactly where all of these were done from my perspective. But you can go on a solo trip, man. Just go book a flight somewhere, or if an event is happening somewhere and you want to go but nobody else wants to go enjoy it. Like I said, gone to the movies by myself. I went to go see the movie Focus by myself, and then I go to Korean barbecue by myself. Went to the Clipse concert by myself, and I went to Portugal by myself. It was for my cousin's wedding, I will say, but I didn't go with anybody. Like the whole trip, like I had a lot of time to myself, and I have that vlog up here on my channel if you want to check it out. But I encourage you guys to go and try things by yourself, and use solo outings as a superpower instead of something that makes you lose power or something that messes up your mind. I want you to use it as something that will strengthen your mindset and strengthen your frame and give you unshakable confidence, because you will not be a prisoner of other people's perspective. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Hope you enjoyed. Peace.